Welcome to Artificial Insights, where we have conversations with leaders and thinkers in AI about how AI is changing economics, work, and us. I'm your host, Daniel Manary, and this is Season 5. This special episode is part of our student series on AI and education. We wanted to hear directly from students, not just from adults talking about students. Today, I'm joined by Vaani. She's a high school student with interests in law, coding, and the arts. Here's my conversation with Vaani. Could you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
So, my name is Vaani Patel, and I'm a high school student. I have some hobbies. For example, I sing, I also dance, and I'm very interested in law. I don't have a job, but yes, I do have a lot of extracurriculars at school. And for example, I play the guitar in our guitar club at our school, which is really fun. And I also do some coding outside and inside of school for my computer science class, and sometimes outside school for just like personal projects or something like youth tech lab.
Cool. And I think with a podcast like this, there's a question that's on everyone's mind, which is, Vaani, are you an AI?
No, I'm not. We should get a recapture button. Say to click on it. I am not AI.
Sometimes they've been known to push that button and justify themselves and just say, I got to get that out of the way. But yeah, cool. I was interested in basically just helping to share stories of how students are encountering AI at school and what you might use it for, anything that might have happened, good or bad, that you've experienced or that you've seen at school, and just what's on your mind and what you've experienced.
So I do use AI who is available to answer all the questions that I have. And I think that AI helps, it's really good at helping when it comes to math heavy or physics heavy questions. But again, the bad side of it is writing. So AI isn't very good at writing. I've seen a lot of people who have tried to use AI to do their work, especially in writing, and it hasn't gone very well for them because
Mm.
it's someone else saying this. But I've used AI a lot as a tool that can help make practice tests for me. And yeah, that's how I've been using AI.
How did you start doing that with AI? Was that something you found on your own, or is that something that you were encouraged to do by a teacher?
I think I just found it by hearing other people use it. So I think the first time I heard about it was about like in grade 10, which was not very recently, but yeah, so I heard it very long time ago, and it was something that teachers weren't very happy about because it wasn't used in the right way. But I heard a lot of people also using it in some better ways, and I just like instinctively wanted to see what it was like and what the hype was about. So I checked it out, and I found it more useful personally than just the Google Chrome browser, because at that time the browsers would just give you a bunch of links that you would have to open one by one to get more information. But this AI tool just gives you like all at once in summary, which was way better. So that is how I got to know AI.
Is there any class where you've been encouraged to use AI? And is there anywhere that you were able to use it to hand in homework, for example?
I don't think I've been exposed to the usage of AI in terms of handing in assignments or anything, but like for computer science, we have been encouraged to use it as a tool that helps you debug your code faster, because sometimes some issues can't be seen by our like human eyes. Like it takes a lot of time to find it. our teacher encouraged us to use AI only to debug it, which AI does really quickly. And sometimes he also told us to use it as an idea generator, ideas of what I could code. And yeah, I think though those are the main ways teachers have encouraged us to use AI. And other ways have just been like what I talked about. Teachers have also encouraged us to use AI in the sense of like making practice questions for us because we sometimes have challenge questions on tests and assignments. So AI can be a really great helper in that so we can get more practice.
So they do encourage you to use it at home as a study tool.
Yes. Yes.
That's very cool. And you're taking a computer science class.
Yes.
It sounds like in the computer science class, you're encouraged to use AI, but in a very specific way.
Yes.
How did that
Yes.
come about?
So the specificness is about we can't tell AI to make our code. We have to use our own logical thinking in our own brain in the coding process. But then when it comes to debugging, that's when we can use AI. And then, for example, sometimes I use it when I get stuck. If I code something and some kind of syntax is wrong or it's just not working out and I'm getting a bunch of errors and I really can't figure it out, then I would put it into the AI chat box and then it would help me understand where I went wrong in terms of how my logic needed to be framed or whatever the issue was. So those are like so it's very I don't want to say biased, that's not the right word, but it's very structured for us. They want us to use it in a specific way.
That's cool. And do you find it helps you learn how to code better to use it that way?
Sometimes yes, because I personally have hard time coding and teachers aren't available. They aren't available 24 hours 7 and we are given homework sometimes. Sometimes we have to prepare for tests and situations that are more urgent. AI really does help, especially when you use it in the right way in terms of what your prompt is. That also plays a lot here. So if our prompt is iterated properly, it does help a lot.
Do they also teach you, at least in the computer science class, how to prompt it, how to use it, or do they give you guidelines? How does that work?
We aren't given any demos on how to use the AI. We're just told that if you do want to use it, you can use it in this way, but we aren't shown how that way works. So I think at this point, all teachers know that we know how to use it. So it's like they also prefer that we don't use it, but it's just like when it's like really urgent, for example, like when we can't find the bug, we can use that.
And have there ever been instance in that class or any other where someone did use AI, but they used it in the wrong way?
Yes. So I remember from my grade 11 computer science class, I heard that somebody used AI to code their project, which was worth a lot. And the teacher, the teacher felt that they had used AI. So what our teacher does at my school is that he calls you up and then he asks you directly what that function or what that part of your code is actually doing. So he tests whether you know what you're doing, and if you fail to explain it to him, he basically just tells you to do something else. So he gives you an alternative project. But I don't think he gives you a zero. At least I haven't heard of that. But they are
Hmm.
like alternatives that you're supposed to do.
That's pretty cool. The explain yourself and then get a separate project if you can't.
Yeah.
What else have you seen at school about AI usage?
I think I've seen a lot of people also use it outside school and sometimes inside school when people are making videos. For example, for their marketing class, they had to make a commercial for a brand that they chose. I think AI also sometimes helps there to edit. For example, like a AI photo blur removal, something like that. And then sometimes also some people use it for generating slideshows, like slideshow templates. And recently ChatGPT has Canva included inside it. So you can just prompt it to give you a specific slideshow template that is something that you want it to be like. For example, you could say aesthetically the colors should be black and white. So it will give you a template specifically tailored to you. I've seen a lot of people use it in that way, and I have used it in that way as well.
So then there are some classes where you can use AI to generate part of the work, or it's an expected part of your workflow.
Yes, in a way, yes. Yes.
That's pretty cool. And do those ones as well teach you what you might do with it, or do they let you figure that out on your own?
Yeah, I think it's mostly figuring it out on your own because as far as I have seen, I don't think any teacher has showed us how to use it. It's very rare, I think.
How do you think AI could be integrated into school?
I think that this is a hard question, but I think that AI is already integrated into our lives in some way, but specifically in school, I think teachers should show us how to use it rather than leaving it on us, rather than letting us figure it out. For example, for generating practice tests, I think teachers have specific AI tools that they use. For example, I've heard that a lot of teachers use Notebook LM and very few talk about it. And I think that
Hmm.
they should tell us more about it so we can also use the same tools that they're using so we get more better like information that is relative to us rather than a broader like output.
That's cool. I didn't know that your teachers might also be using AI, but it sounds like they don't talk about it.
Yeah, I think some of them do, but not all of them talk about it.
Hmm.
Very few talk about it.
And is there anything else that comes to mind that you'd want to share?
I think that personally, I have seen people who have gotten into trouble because of AI. What the point of AI isn't to do your job, it's to help you do your job. Those two are they're totally different things. And I think that if we know how to use it properly in a way that it's helping us and not doing our job, we would get a better output and more reasonable one than something that does not even relate to us. For example, if we just tell AI to write an essay for us, it's going to sound like AI. It's not going to sound like us. And if the essay is a personal essay, it needs to have that. The teacher has to feel that it's like a real person saying it. But if anybody compares a text written by AI and a human without knowing which one is whose, I think it's really easy to know which one's which because like I said before, AI sounds very artificial when it comes to writing. So in that category, AI does not is not very helpful if you wanted to do your job, but it can be helpful if you use it to help you do your job. For example, in English concepts as well, if you ask it to look over your essay and help you find the weak areas relative to your rubric, that is really helpful and very clever use of AI because that way you can find out where you went wrong and save your marks, essentially.
I like that approach. It sounds like treating English like coding. That's awesome. Thank you, Vaani.
You're welcome.
I started this podcast because of an image that came to me in a dream. Back when cities had walls, everyone passed through the gate. Talk to enough people there and you'd understand the city. I wanted to stand at the gate and understand not just how AI was changing, but how AI was changing us. If you know someone building or leading with AI, or if this episode was useful, an introduction, a share, or a quick review on your podcast app all help keep these conversations going and help others find them. You can reach me on LinkedIn at Daniel Manary or by email at daniel@manary.house. That's Daniel at manary.haus. Thanks for listening.